It is the first op session of my new model railroad, the Blue Ridge and Western, my own freelance model railroad, and I've got a special guest for that op session right here. Check it out. This video is brought to you by Model Railroad Academy. Model Railroad Academy is your online resource for model railroad instructions, ideas, and information, with loads of tutorials and articles for model railroaders of every skill level. One of my personal favorites is Alan Keller's Great Model Railroads series. It is just so much fun to look at all of these different model railroads from all of these different great model railroaders and just get inspiration from those. Plus, you can find tutorials on everything from bench work to electronics to scenery, all sorts of things there. The first 1,000 people to sign up at the link in the description below will get a full year of premium membership to Model Railroad Academy for $1.49. Offer is valid for new members only. I am on this round of the Around the Layout podcast interchange tour for the N-Scale car. It has been here. I've been shooting with it, and we're going to go ahead and get started with the op session. Now, I am still trying to figure out the little quirks and kinks of this entire op session. So what I'm doing here basically is you're not going to see the final thing. There's a few things that I'm taking notes on. They're going to make things work better, but let's go ahead and get started. Before we begin, let's talk about the areas that are going to be covered, including some new ones. This is the area where the metal fabricators are at Elkin, North Carolina, which is a real place. And then you're going to move into where this candle factory, I'm not sure if it's an actual candle factory in real life, but that's the best that I could do research right here. And this is in between Elkin and Rural Hall on that long stretch, as well as the Purdue feed mill, which you have already seen. And that is what we have right here. That's actually represented by a concrete distributor right now, but that's going to change at some point. And these are the main areas you're going to see. The last one you're going to see is that Rural Hall section, which is really where the railroad this is based off this starts, and there is a transload facility right here. And one of the things you see is that Around the Layout interchange tour boxcar, and that is where it is going to start. Now, in this world, there is a line that goes all the way from Winston-Salem to Wilkesboro and continues into the Blue Ridge Mountains. And this train is representing a train coming out of the Wilkesboro yard on its way to Winston-Salem, just taking a bunch of hopper cars out of the mountains down to Winston. And there will be a few cars that actually go on to the local that switches this, because the local that switches all of these industries is going to come out of Winston. So this train is going to go through, you see it going through Elkin, and then it's going to head down through past all our industries and then loop back around into the staging area, which you will not see today. Now, this is the last point on the layout that will be completely visible before it goes into hidden track and staging track. So it's going to exit the layout in Rural Hall and head back to staging. That sound is a local coming out of Winston to do all the switching on this line, and the first thing it has to do is pick up that boxcar off the transload track in Rural Hall. Now the first thing it has to do is get on that inner track of the T-track modules, and then it's going to be able to go grab the boxcar. now it can hook back up with the rest of the train and head out to do some more switching. The train heads around the bend and navigates its way to its next stop, which will be the Purdue feed mill. The train uncouples the cars that it is going to spot here on the inner siding right there, so that the little switcher that lives at the feed mill is going to be able to do all the switching that is necessary so that the next train on the way back can pick them up and take them back to Winston. The engine reconnects with the rest of the train and then heads on to its next destination, which is Elkin. Now, really doing this section of the job justice is just going to take a lot, so it really needs its own video, but basically the little NW2 gets around and switches the feed mill, which I looked around a lot around where I am and where all this, and there's actually quite a lot of engines like this that are devoted to switching industries like this. They either are leased or they're bought there, and they go through and they do handle all of the shuffling and switching of cars that you have here. But that's basically what this does, and it really deserves its own video, which I'll probably do in the near future. Now you can see the locals heading on to Elkin, and you may be saying to yourself, hey, it's not stopping to switch this industry right here. Well, you are correct. So there's going to be a little bit of something a little different that happens once it gets into Elkin, which it is heading into right now. And now it's going to detach the cars that it is going to need to leave here to be switched, and then it will be able to reattach and take the rest of them up to the Tyson feed mill on its way up to Wilkesboro. And now the train heads out and heads on to Wilkesboro. So the engine that's actually going to switch out all the Elkin Industries is this little Jeep 15 right here, Blue Ridge and Western number 1615, and that's going to be coming up next time. So that's right, this is only part 1 of this op session. We've gotten to Elkin, and we need to switch out everything around Elkin, which actually took way longer than I thought. So part 2 is coming out tomorrow, and you guys will see it then. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Jimmy from the DIY and Digital. Stay safe, be kind, and happy railroading.